So yesterday I met with a couple of agents who were adamant that they were not going to go to Bold. And we had a conversation for, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes about some of the reasons that I've heard that people don't want to go. And at the tail end of that, both of them said that they were going to sign up, not just for First Step, but for full Bold. And then I shared this with a couple of other people, and in fact, 5 people over the last 24 hours, and all 5 of them asked if I would record this message and send it to you. And so that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So it's a message about Bold, but it's also a message about our culture. It's a message about love and compassion and acceptance and safety and value, and that's what I want to talk to you about. So please hang with me just for a couple of minutes here. I began to think about this the other day, the idea of why is making calls and registering some people for Bold, why is it like pulling teeth, right? I mean, I actually wanted to be a dentist in high school, but not because I wanted to pull teeth, right? I wanted to be a dentist in high school because I saw the car that my dentist drove, and I saw how much they played golf, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool, right? And then there was the teeth pulling thing, and I decided that's the end of my dental career, right there, and that was the end of my dental career. So now I get started here, and as I'm talking to some people, it just suddenly dawned on me, sometimes this is like pulling teeth, and why is that? So I began to ask questions, and I found out really it was about 4 things. So I want to share those with you right now. The first item was value. As I talked to some agents, the idea was, hey, we've been there, we've done that. It's the same thing for the last 20 years. So the other day, our leadership team met, and we had our Bold coach call into that call, and it was a very candid conversation. One of the questions was about just that, the value. You know, we've got a lot of people who have been to Bold multiple times, and it's the same thing all the time. And what he said is that it's been rewritten. So the question obviously is, how much of it's been rewritten? And here's the answer that the Bold coach gave us: 100%. So back in March and April, they did a lab on Bold, and at that time they had rewritten about 50% of it. Since then, the entire course has been rewritten. It's very heavy on database, it's very heavy on social media and things like that. He described that all the, what he called rah-rah stuff is gone. So you know that cool exercise where you lay on the floor and they drop money on you? Well, if you love that, you're going to be disappointed because they don't do it anymore. Making posters, having team chants, all that kind of thing, I guess it's all gone. So if you loved it, wow, you're going to miss that part of it because it's gone. All of that kind of thing has been replaced with what he called items and exercises of true value that you're going to receive in Bold. The second item is one of expectation. What I mean by that is sometimes people come in with expectations that are not going to be met, and then they automatically just feel like they've failed. I remember in one of the First Steps a year or 2 ago, the coach talked about, you know, the average Bold attendee has 14 contracts during the 7 weeks of Bold, and each one is worth $6,000, and that's $84,000, and that's amazing because who wouldn't invest $800 for $84,000? And the answer, of course, if that's true, is, well, nobody wouldn't do that. Everybody do it, right? The challenge is that has not been proven in the results. And I would like to bring this down to reality, which is to say something along these lines. Hey, if you got one deal that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise during the course of Bold, would that be worth it? Now, our average contract or closing in this market center is not $6,000. It's $4,000. It's a little higher if you're working with the seller. It's a little lower if you're working with the buyer, but the average is $4,000. So if you invested $800 and got $4,000, would that be a good deal? And I'm saying, you know what? I would take that deal every single time, right? As I shared this with one of the agents yesterday, she looked at me and she said, oh my gosh, last year I went out to do a Bold 100 and I felt like such a failure. I only got through 60. I was door knocking and I only got through 60. But somewhere in that 60, it was actually in the last 10 homes that she knocked, she met somebody for whom she ultimately got a listing. And then she also got them into the buy side for their next property, and since then some referrals. Well, that's turned into over $10,000 for her. And I said, man, that should be celebrated to high heaven. And yet it's looked at as, oh my gosh, you know, I only got like 2 deals, right? Oh my gosh, for $800, right? I got $8,000. I got $10,000. That's amazing. And I want us to get real about the numbers and about the expectations. The last couple of items, I'm going to group them together. They're important, and they fall under the concepts of integrity and acceptance and safety. Those are big parts of our culture here. And this story was related to me by a capping agent who said that not only had they witnessed other people in the Bold room who admittedly had fudged some numbers rather than take a foul, but they had done so also. I'm going to tell you that I did it also in the past. It's not right. It's not right. Okay? I remember a couple of years ago, 2 years ago at Bold, I was asked to write down a number. What are my goals for my net income? And I wrote down a number. And it was a very clear number. It was, this is what I want, right? And I was immediately told I needed to double it because it wasn't big enough. And the truth was, it was big enough. It's a number that provided for my family and still allowed me to have a life and to do the other things that I wanted to do in my personal life, with my family, for my health, and my volunteer work, all of that. And sure, I could make 2 or 3 times that and not have a life at all outside of my financial life, right? So here, this agent had confided they were so concerned about getting a foul. I'm going to set you free right now. Truth will set you free. I want you to feel totally comfortable to foul out, right? If that is the truth, right? You're welcome to attend all 7 sessions even after you foul out, and we've had plenty of people do that. It's okay. You don't need the trophy. That trophy is worth about $3, truth be known, right? If you really want that, I've got 2 of them. If you really need one at the end of the deal, I'll give you one of mine, all right? So I want you to come. I want you to be real. I want you to do the work that you are able to do and know that it is good enough, that you are good enough, that you're accepted. You deserve to be here. We want you here. We love you. And if we follow out, maybe we'll just follow out together, and we'll all have a fabulous 4th quarter and a rockin' 2020. I love you guys. We all love you, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.